Oreng Carolyne. I work for another youth organization, and we are partnering with Ponea Health. Today we're going to bring you a very interesting topic, PTSD, and in full is post-traumatic stress disorder. Sometimes when a child is growing up from, like I mentioned, 5 years and below, it depends on what they went through. There are some conditions whereby it's a one-off, like an accident. An accident can happen on the road. It doesn't happen every now and then. If a child experiences that, then it's easy for a child to get out of it through therapy. If a child was bullied at school, then that can be a lifetime, because as they grow, they continue having it and it becomes more severe. If a child was going through abuse at home, physical or even sexual, and it's continuous, it's not going to be easy for that child to get better again, though it might take a longer time. The more the attack was, the more it's going to be hard for a child to get better. But the most important thing is to get to know what is happening. If we do not understand what's happening to a child, if we don't get a diagnosis, if we don't get treatment, if we don't know how to manage it, then we're going to miss it out. And so that means that this child is going to grow up into a person who has a lot of issues as they're becoming adults. It is wise for each and every parent, if you realize that a child has PTSD, or even if it's a parent who has PTSD, just like any other diagnosis, you cannot go to a cardiologist yet you're suffering from kidneys. You as an adult cannot go to a pediatric yet you are an adult. So it's the same thing with also therapy. You have to choose a therapy who understand what PTSD is, and the best therapists are the ones who have done something called cognitive therapy behavior. They will understand what all this is all about. But if you take a child to a marriage counselor, we are not going to get anywhere, because this counselor will dwell so much on marriage and will miss out on the child. Might feel like this child is just a child, it's not supposed to be probably given opportunity, or will not dwell on the child per se. But if you take a child to a child counselor who understands what PTSD is, who have done cognitive therapy, then it's going to be very easy for this child to be helped. If you take a child to a hospital all the time complaining that they have headaches or they are sick, and the doctor keep telling you, I don't see any sickness here, probably the child needs counseling, the parent might like, my child is still small, what counseling does this child need? So it is important for each and everyone to take advice from people who give them those advices and look into them and make sure that this child gets the best therapist ever who can help them grow to be somebody who is meaningful in the society. PTSD is a very common disease. I wouldn't really call it disease, but it's a very common trait in very many people around, and it's not going to stop right now. There are those people who still have it from the post-election violence. There are some people who have it because of what they went through when they were young. There are some people who also have it depending on the environment that they grew up. Maybe it was an environment where people would drink a lot, or an environment where people would make noise a lot, and that's the way the child grows. So if you are the kind of a person who realizes that you are reliving some parts of your life, you see something and it comes back to you like as if it happened when you were young, then you could be suffering from PTSD. If you're the kind of person who you're always alert, you are always worrying, you are always worried about things, you could be suffering from PTSD. It could be because you went through something, and that thing, when you are older, maybe 20 years later, and it comes to you again, and you see it, you start getting those painful chest pains, and you feel like as if you want to go to the toilet, and you feel you're sweating, and you're not comfortable where you are, then please go and get a diagnosis, because you could be suffering from PTSD. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have learned a lot from each other. If you want to book my services, you can always do that through ponea.com. You will get me, you will be referred to me, and we will be able to continue with this topic or anything that might be disturbing you psychologically.